welcome into the EP podcast. My name is Chris. That's Hannah.
Hey.
And you are going to have an hour of live EP podcast.
Yes, you are.
And there's an awful lot to do on this episode today.
Yeah.
First off, I'm going to put into the comments right away the link if you want to join us. We have guests early on in this show, so we will not get to the people that want to jump on and talk to us until a little bit later.
Yeah.
We know we're going to be visiting Horse Thief Hollow. I've got a whole video package. I was there today. They won the World Beer Cup. They won a gold medal in the World Beer Cup. And
well
so
deserved.
we're gonna be at Horse
Well
Thief
deserved.
Hollow, and we're gonna be hanging out with them. If you hear anything weird, if you're like, I can't hear you guys, or there's something strange, there's a comment section. We will see your comments if you throw them into the comment section.
Yeah.
It does not exist on the Twitter feed, but it does exist on YouTube, which I think is still the best place to watch this because you can stream it
I
up on
agree.
your smart TV, and it also exists in Facebook. I believe those Facebook comments will show up because I know I can post into the Facebook comments, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you're viewing. We're live right now. Everybody's jumping in, and we're going to be talking with the Stingrays in just a few
The
moments here.
Stingrays.
They are playing a free concert on June 11th coming up here over at
Nice.
Klein Park. Before we get to that, though, I threw my back out yesterday.
How did you do that? Dare I ask? How did
Every
you do
time I say
that?
it to somebody, I've gotten a different response from everybody I've said it to. I've had people look at me and go, "Do you have chronic back issues?" I've had people look at me like, "Oh, you're old."
I mean, sometimes you do the stupidest thing and you'll throw your back out.
Well, this was a dad saving his child. That's what this was.
You were saving?
I was. We were putting the big giant ladder that goes into the pool into the pool. It's this big bulky thing.
Yeah.
It has to be weighted down.
Right.
I got my 15-year-old who's, he's pretty strong, but I have him in the pool. And I'm
Okay.
going to have my 17-year-old daughter and me lift the ladder up over the top, give it to him. He helps us place it in. We're done. I mapped out what we were doing.
Okay.
So much. Like, it was crazy. Like, I was like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to lift it like this. Then when we get it over here, we're both going to go up at the same time. Then we're going to hand it across. Then it's going to drop back down. Like, I'm explaining this in great detail. We start doing it, and immediately everything falls apart with the plan. My daughter's like losing
How can
her
it
grip.
fall apart?
I don't know. My daughter's losing her grip as she's doing a thing, and it starts to fall on her. And so I do the dad thing where I just reach over and grab the ladder. And I basically all of a sudden have all the weight of the ladder at like this weird angle.
Oh, God.
And I just
Oh, did you twist
tore
it?
the bottom of my back up.
Oh.
It's killing me. It's
Oh,
absolutely
no.
brutal. And so then
It's like a nerve or a muscle?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's a nerve because it stretches everywhere. So then I decided I was going to be my own doctor because I hate muscle relaxers. So this is what I decided to do.
What did you do?
I got in the pool with a bottle of bourbon. And I put my back
Problem solved.
And I put my back on the little
Problem
nozzle that
solved.
comes out, and then I just started drinking bourbon. And my wife's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I don't like muscle relaxers. This will relax me." And I drank more bourbon than you should drink at home, kids, is what I did. Like they
yet
got
you're completely
they got
sober
poor
right now.
drunk dad to bed last night.
Wow.
Okay, and it did work fairly well. Like, I mean, it did. I am better today than I was yesterday. It really loosen up the muscle. I don't know if I should recommend it. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
Maybe you should see your doctor. Maybe you should get muscle relaxers. Maybe
you
just
should
apply
get some
heat.
bourbon.
I was like,
Maybe you get some bourbon.
I'm gonna kill it with bourbon. Is what I was gonna. That's where I went. That's what I did. I killed it with bourbon. I wonder if our guest here, seeing as how they're both in a band. I wonder if
Yeah.
they've ever killed anything with bourbon before. We're gonna bring them in. We have Frank Rowley and we have Greg Favada, and one of you has something on in the background. We're getting a little bit of an echo, so just double check that for me that you're not like watching this in the background. I'm not sure. Well, we're gonna try to fight through this. That's what we're gonna do. So guys, how are you? Let me bring them in. How are you, Frank? How are you, Greg?
I'm great.
Yeah, you guys are playing June 11th at Klein Park in Evergreen Park. It's a free summer concert. They're doing a bunch of these, and I think they're mixing them up which parks they're going to be doing them at. But the first one here is on June the 11th. And tell everybody a little bit about the style of music that you play. I have an audio clip, but I'd love for you to describe it first to me.
You go ahead, Frank.
Oh, well, we play 50s, 60s, 70s rock and roll, all the hits, and all the fun dance stuff that you're used to.
Okay, well, here, I'm going to put it on here so everybody can hear it. Here's a quick clip for you.
Uh-oh.
All right, so who's doing the singing? Which one of you is singing? Is
That's our drummer Al.
the drummer
Drummers
sings?
like cowboy
No.
mouth style.
All four guys sing. All
That's
four guys sing.
awesome.
That's cool.
One of the coolest bands that I ever saw perform is from her home state. Hannah's home state is Louisiana.
Yeah.
Cowboy Mouth.
Cowboy Mouth.
And the guy on Cowboy Mouth
Brad
sits in the
LeBlanc.
front with the drums, and
In
he's
the
the
front,
lead
huh?
singer and the drummer, and they stand behind the guy with the drums, which is crazy. And they're really cool live because of that. Because when you got a drummer who's a lead singer pumping up the crowd, it gets absolutely insane when they would play a show. But
Yeah.
I've not seen a lot of drummers in my life that sing.
It's pretty rare.
I've not seen a lot of bands with the drummer sit in front of them either.
No.
I got to fix Greg's thing here real quick. I'm noticing this. Poor Greg.
You know,
has
what's
got-
Greg?
He's got no. You have the EP podcast
I
logo
do. I didn't
over
know
your
if you- I
face.
didn't know if other people could see
No,
it.
because I'm an idiot. So I'm going to take that off real quick. Oh,
Yeah.
I can put another one
Yeah,
on.
but
Look at this.
Put the little one up by me.
You all had them. I would
There.
feel
I hit
Right
it.
there.
It's off. There it goes.
There it
is. Okay.
All right. I got it off of there. We'll keep it off for the
I
interview.
thought,
That's
why did I
great.
bother shaving for this? You know,
How long have you guys been playing for?
The band's been together 27 years now.
wow.
Same members.
I'm an original. Our drummer's the original, and Greg's one of our new guys.
Nice.
And that's right. And our keyboard player is another one of the young guys that I just took on.
But we've been
And
friends
Greg-
for a very long time.
Yes.
Okay, so you knew him.
Many,
So
many.
if you were friends for a long time, does Frank make you come in for an audition, or does he already know enough about you that he's like, you want to join my band?
He knew enough because he'd seen my bands and I'd seen his, and actually there's been a couple times in the past when I've like I think 2013 it was, I sat in for quite a few gigs at that time because they were kind of in between members, so I was able to do that. So Frank and I both know each other's abilities and talents, so it wasn't a problem.
So why this style of music? I love this style of music. It's a fun style. I think it's going to be fun on June 11th out at Klein Park and Circle Park, if you like calling it that. But it sounds like it'll be live. It'll be exciting. It'll be good entertainment. It'll be songs that people know. And is that why you picked it? You just like being lively on the stage?
I grew up with this. I had older cousins that listened to this stuff. I used to sneak into their room and play their records, and I probably scratched them when I was a little kid.
I
But
knew it was
I grew
you.
up listening to this.
Oh,
What's
okay.
that, Greg?
I knew it was you who scratched those records. I was sure of it. And now you've admitted it. Now you've got it admitted, Frank.
Yes, I did.
That's why I couldn't learn the guitar parts. They were scratched.
That's awesome. All right, so take me through regular show here. Is it just that you guys are playing? Are there lights? Is there explosions? Are there fireworks in the finale? Like what do people? If I've never seen you before, I just heard a little clip of your audio, and I was able to look up a little bit of what you have online. But if I've never seen you before, and you say I have a band, you should come out to my show. What do you tell people they're going to see when they get to see the Stingrays?
Well, we try to play the music as authentically as we can. We try to build during the show, so we start out with the older, quieter stuff and get a little bit more rock and roll towards the end. But the real thing, we include the audience in, because we play trivia with you
They're contests.
and contests. Yes. So we'll
You
have trivia contests.
Wait,
dance
you have
contests.
you have interactive things with the crowd during the
Oh,
show?
yeah.
Is it music
All throughout.
trivia or what kind of trivia?
Yeah.
Music trivia. Also, there's a big dance contest too.
Right.
With the
Greg
biggest
Greg gives the
evening.
dance lesson.
I feel like this is.
Give you
I
a
feel
little-
like
give you a little dance demonstration.
I feel like this will be not only an enjoyable musical evening, but great people watching. If you're going to have like a contest with people dancing, I would think. I mean, like,
Oh, yeah.
do most of your dancers, are they skilled, or do you get a lot of them that look like Elaine in Seinfeld, just kind of writhing around?
They're skilled
I'll let you
after
answer
Greg
that,
gives
Greg.
them the lesson, right, Greg?
Well, if I
After
gave you a
Greg
lesson,
teaches.
it's got to be great dancing.
Yes.
No Elaine kicks, that means.
All right, so I dig the style. I think it's going to be exciting. I like the clip when I checked it out. I've seen a little bit of video on your website. I just, to me, I think it's great that you have a group that's been around for so long that stuck together.
Yeah.
I think anytime I've ever known anybody in bands, doesn't matter if they're doing covers or if they're doing their own material. Very difficult to be able to keep a band going as long as you've been able to keep it going.
You just make it fun. You
Make
just
it
make
fun.
it fun and enjoy yourself, and it just will last.
That's very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Any advice you have for younger musicians that might be watching right now? I mean, I know that like I had a buddy of mine who at one point was married to Hannah over here, and he hated doing cover songs. Like he just hated it. He just wanted to do his own stuff, and I get that. That's cool. But like on the other hand, people dig stuff that they've heard before.
Right.
So if you had young musicians, would you tell them like, hey, just be a cover band or mix? What kind of advice do you give young musicians thinking about starting a band?
You want to give your answer first, Frank?
Yeah. The best answer is the Beatles started out as a cover band. Okay.
This is true.
I mean, do I have to really go on from there?
This is true.
You got to learn. You got to learn from the best before you do your own thing. You have to.
Right.
And I think if you're a young musician starting out, do what makes you happy, whatever it is that makes you happy. Because if you're not enjoying yourself when you're playing, it's not worth it. You have to enjoy yourself. But we like this music. We enjoy it a lot, and it shows when the band plays. We all have a great time. We're laughing the whole time, having fun, playing the songs authentically, and all of us make sure that we involve the audience in what we're doing. We talk to them. We have fun with them. We give out little fun prizes, and then we have the dance contest. There's a lot of fun things to do, and they're gonna know every word to every song we play, and they sing right along with us.
So who are your musical influences growing up, and what influenced you to get into music?
You want to go first, Franklin?
Sure. Yeah.
I love how Greg gives Frank this shot, like at the beginning every time.
He's
It's
the
great.
boss. I've learned.
For me, it was the Beatles. The
Okay.
Beatles just set the stage for me. They were the record that I was Meet the Beatles. I was putting the little needle on there, scratching the record up when I was a kid. And then from the Beatles, listening to Cream and Yes and Renaissance, and I just stopped about 1983, I'd say, because music seemed to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why everybody in my house listens to 90s alternative here. I've got a bunch of
love
teenagers because with my generation, I pretty much stopped at 2 at some point.
Yeah.
For me, when I was a kid, there was a lot of live music on TV. So I go way back. So I remember Roger Miller and Jimmy Dean and Glenn Campbell and Tom Jones and Johnny Cash. All these people had live TV shows with live music. And you see these guys playing guitar, you think, I want to do that.
Yeah.
That
I bet.
looks like fun. And of course, and I'm a huge Beatles and Stones fan and stuff, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I love all that stuff. Creedence. But I think it was really seeing people play guitar on TV and singing, and they always look like they're having a great time. Well, I wanted to have a great time too.
Yeah. So you're live. Who's the best you've ever seen live?
What's that now?
Who is the best band you have ever seen live?
Can I go first?
Go for it.
I saw. I've seen Paul McCartney 6 times.
Oh my gosh.
And the second time I saw him in '76. The second time I saw him in 1989, my wonderful brother-in-law slept outside and got me 3rd row tickets. So I was about 12 feet from him. And I promised myself I wasn't going to make a big thing and act like it was special. And by the middle of about the 4th song, I was jumping up and down, screaming, "Paul, we love you." The
Of course you were.
For the whole
Fanboy.
night.
That's
So
awesome.
that's I've seen a lot of great shows. That's got to be my favorite.
Okay.
What about you, Frank?
I saw Donovan at the Park West, and he started out solo. Then he brought on a string quartet, brought a band on. It just was the best show I'd ever seen. He knew how to structure the night, and his voice was perfect.
Wow, I never guessed that from him. I love it, but I would never guess that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
All right, so on June 11th, again, Klein Park or Circle Park, people should check you out. Do you know what time you're going on?
6
remember that?
o'clock. I got it right. 6 p.m. I got it right in front of me.
6 p.m. Get out there. It's a
That's
free
right.
show here in Evergreen Park.
Right.
You're going to get to see these guys. Everybody in the band sings. There's audience participation. There's trivia. There's a dance
Trivia.
competition. This is going to be a live party going on Sunday, the 11th, in Klein Park here in Evergreen Park. And the Stingrays seem like a fun group. And guys, I'm going to do my absolute best. I think I'm going to be out there for that because I want to see the dance competition more than anything now.
Yeah.
So we want you,
right?
Chris. We want you to win.
Yeah, well, my
We're not
back's got to
gonna
get
tell
better for
anybody
that.
You're a ringer. We're not going to tell anybody.
Listen, my back has to get better. I'll have to drink more bourbon so I can loosen up so I can do the twist or something.
I heard that. Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for coming on the EP podcast, and we'll see you on the 11th of June.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris and Hannah. Thank you.
Thank you both very much.
That's awesome.
That was fun.
Nice guys.
That was
okay,
fun.
and they got
That was
a
fun.
really cool band, and I like that kind of music. I do. I dig that style. It's the style that would be playing in the background when I was like my parents used to have it on
Yeah.
at parties, and like my grandparents liked it.
Yeah.
You know, certain genres kind of disappear as you get older. Bands like that keep it alive,
They
which I
do,
think
yeah.
is really cool. Yeah, definitely.
Everybody likes it, and it's good dancing music. Like they said, like why wouldn't you have a dance contest?
All right, so here we go. We've got coming up here in just a little bit. We're going to be going to Horse Thief Hollow, and I've got
Love
a
that
nice little
place.
because they won a major award.
I know.
They're right nearby Evergreen Park.
Their beer is amazing.
and they won first place, gold medal in the International Pilsner competition of the World Beer Cup.
Didn't you say a pilsner is like hard to make? Is that what they were saying? Yeah.
It's a really hard thing to make.
Yeah.
You know, like a hazy IPA is basically an IPA where they made mistakes and that's why it's hazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became like a style and people started doing it, right? But like you can't really hide mistakes in a pilsner. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, it's one of the more technical beers. And for them to be able to, and they're going up against everybody in the world.
Yeah.
They got German beer makers that have been doing it for like 300, 400 years out there that are in this competition. And this little brewery right in Beverly, right outside Evergreen Park, I mean, a hop, skip, and a jump away from the EP
Yeah.
wins this award. I think that's really impressive and very cool. So we're going to be going there in a moment. Quick note, though, I saw today.
Literally a note.
The ex mayor of Evergreen Park, Jim Sexton, his wife, Karen, retired.
Oh,
Congratulations to her. I want to throw it out. Yesterday she retired.
Congrats.
I saw it in the village email and I was like, that is pretty impressive. And I thought it was cool that she stayed on too. Like
That is.
He retired and she's like, I'm not done yet. You go
That's
home.
good.
You go sit on the couch. I'm
You sit
sticking
on
around.
enjoy alone time at home. Yeah. That was really cool. Well, congratulations to her.
Yes, congratulations to her. Okay,
Awesome.
let's head out real quick
Let's
to Horse
go.
Thief Hollow. We're going to check that out. And folks, if you want to jump in and join the show, we can talk about anything you want to talk to about. I think people are really fired up about the idea that the MHR Carnival has been canceled and the reasoning behind it. And if somebody wanted to jump on and talk about it, I know I'm going to talk about it coming up here.
Yeah, I want to
And-
hear your thoughts on this.
Oh, we've got lots ahead here, but first let's check out Horse Thief Hollow. And as I hit all these buttons every once in a while, something sometimes takes a long time. Here we go. We're going to Horse Thief right now on the EP Podcast Live.
The EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.
I'm sitting at Horse Thief Hollow with a couple of award winners right here, winners of an amazing award, big deal for brewers. And I want to introduce you to Jake, and I want to introduce you to Morrison, the brewers behind Little Wing.
That's right.
Gold medal award winner, World Beer Cup. What? First of all, how did it feel when you heard your name get called? Is that what they do? They call your name when you're doing this?
Yeah, they. He can speak for himself, but I was ecstatic. He called me and told me about it, and it was fantastic. I mean,
Yeah, so there's actually an awards ceremony. They do it on stage, and
Do you know in advance going to the ceremony that you've won something, but you don't know what you won?
no. So, you have to elect to attend. It was in Nashville, so
Okay.
we actually stayed back. It was the Craft Brewers Conference, but we're really busy over here, so we were just hanging out brewing, and we didn't even watch the live stream of the award ceremony, so we found out via text. So it was awesome. But yeah, we had all of our brewer friends texting us, congratulations. So like that's how I found out, opening my phone. Congrats, gold, Little Wing. And yeah, it was just incredible. And
I had this explained to me that like it's months long process because everybody submits a beer and they've
Yeah.
got 200 judges and they can't drink it all in one day. So you submit your stuff and then you wait a little while and you find out where you ended up. But when you think of the amount of people that submitted, probably for your category, has to be one of the busiest and hardest ones to win because you win International Pilsner. That you win the gold medal in the World Beer Cup. You've got to be going up against German breweries that have been doing it for hundreds and hundreds of years. And then you find a way to, this brewery right here on the south side of Chicago, right here in Beverly, just outside Evergreen Park. I mean, this is the one that wins it over everybody in the world?
Yeah, so I believe it was 56 countries, and in our category, I believe it was 128 entries. And so
yeah, 129. So we
129.
bested 128 of them.
so yeah.
So this is, I would say, the staple, the big one. It's always at the top of the list here in Horse Thief. It's been available as long as I've been coming here, and I've been coming here since the place just opened up.
Yeah.
You have lots of artwork that shows that there's been tons of conceptual art for it, and like how if when you canned it, like deciding like what you want to put on it, and I always got the feeling that it was really important, this beer, to your owner, and Neil liked this beer. And so he must have also been like, holy cow, look how far we've come. Now it's winning an award.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Neil and for me as, Neil's head brewer to be able to bring this accomplishment home, with Morrison's help. And it was huge for us, and it was so awesome because I know that for Neil, it's really a great achievement. And this is our flagship beer. This is our number one seller. Almost everyone who comes here drinks this beer. So like to have this happen to a beer such as Little Wing for us it's just really incredible, and can't even say how awesome it is. So
I've been told that Pilsners are one of the harder beers to make because you can't make a mistake with it. It's other beers, you can kind of hide flaws. In fact, New England IPAs are essentially beers that are flawed, and then it became like something that everybody wanted to drink, this cloudy IPA. So like, take me a little bit through the process of making this beer. I mean, is this something where you're out there with the slide ruler trying to figure out that you're doing everything perfectly? Is it the cleaning that has to be exact? Like, take me a little bit through this.
Well, I tell you what, I can speak on the cleaning quite a bit. Cleaning your vessels is definitely very important because those clean vessels are what hold the beer, right? You don't want any infections that could infect the beer. So that's definitely a big issue, big problem when it comes to beer. But we do very well in that aspect. I say Jake could definitely talk more about the Pilsner itself because he's the one that actually made the award-winning tweaks to it.
Ooh, what award-winning tweaks did you make?
well, these are trade secrets, but but actually Dave, the original head brewer here, he originally conceptualized this recipe.
Okay.
So when I took over in 2019, I had a really good base, and Little Wing has always been great. But it's just my nature to constantly be tweaking everything because when you're making beer, I mean, almost up until this point, it's like it can always be better, right? Like if you don't think your beer can be better, then you're selling yourself and your customers short. So I'm always looking for ways to improve it. So it's always been subtle because I also don't want someone to come in, have a Little Wing today, and then have one tomorrow and be like, oh, this tastes different.
Right.
So any changes that I make are going to be subtle, and I will slowly drift the recipe in one direction or another. So really, and they've all been very small. Like the recipe that I started with was damn near perfect, and a little more hops. We changed. We actually used domestic grown malt instead of German grown malt, and I'm just really proud of that because we're using our own homegrown stuff. German malt is awesome, but so is American malt. So for us to be able to prove to ourselves that the American grown malt can hang with the German maltsters, it really makes me proud.
That's cool.
But yeah, and even to execute the recipe in the cleanest way, it starts on brew day. You have to make a really good wort, which is the unfermented beer or sugar water essentially. So you need to be technically sound in all your processes. So yeah, Morrison does a ton of the brewing, and the two of us, we've got it down to where we're both doing the same thing, and we're doing the right thing. So beyond the brew day, then you have to have a really healthy fermentation. That's really the biggest key there too. because all the flavors, it needs to be very clean. And that comes from a healthy fermentation, good yeast, and all that good stuff.
Are you going to make any tweaks now? I mean, you said like, oh, you always want to be improving your beer, but I wouldn't touch a thing going forward.
I think,
mean, you know exactly what you did in this batch that won, and it's basically like we're writing this thing down in ink right now. We're making sure that we know exactly what won the competition.
Yeah, I mean, it's cemented. So if there was anything to tell me to stop making tweaks, it was getting the gold at World Beer Cup. So yeah, we're set.
So what's the next goal then? You know, when I drink this, is the next goal like winning in another category? Is the goal to repeat? Can you repeat in this thing, or are you just kind of relishing the fact that you won?
You know, we would love to do a repeat next year. I think we are also going to submit this for the Great American Beer Festival this year, and we hope to do well in that as well. But hell, if we took the gold again next year, I don't know how much better I could feel. You know, so that would be cool.
You guys need shirts here with your pictures on it, because nobody sees the brewers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been here so many times, and this is like the first time we met, and you were like, I think I met you like a year or two ago, and like I see the people in the front more than I see the brewers. You guys got to be out in the open now a little bit more, I would think. People need to know these are the guys behind the gold medal at the World Beer Cup.
I think, for the most part, we just want to showcase the beer. As much as we love to be seen, but the beer is, speaks for itself. So
yeah, and we love to hang out in the tap room after our shift and have a pint with our customers, but a lot of times we miss a lot of people like you, because we're there for maybe 20-30 minutes after our shift, and we're sweaty and dirty, so we're not the most public facing people for reasons like that. Like, we need to go home and clean up before we're released to the public. So
well, I don't know. I think I see all these great shirts inside this place, all this artwork. Somebody needs to commission something that just you get to wear. Like, I made that.
Yeah, I'm down.
I won that award. Right, yeah, right. You need just one identifying thing so people could see it and be like, man, this thing is good. I would assume that if you were telling people, what beer they should try if they've never been to Horseleaf Hollow, you'd of course say Little Wing. It just won a big award. If there's another one up there that the two of you like, that's what I'm curious of. You're both brewers. You both must have a favorite. I know it's like picking amongst your children which one you love the most, but there's got to be one that you're like, this one I'm really proud of.
So right now I'm a big fan of Boogie Chillin'. It's a grapefruit pale ale. It's great for the summer, great for the patio. I was not a huge fan of grapefruit, and then I tasted this, and it was just, we couldn't have done a better job of like threading the needle with the flavor of grapefruit. Plus, it's summer, citrus, just a good time.
What about you?
Yeah, I concur. But really,
look at you! You just went with what he had.
All right, so if I'm going to be truthful, I'm really like a yeast nerd and a fermentation nerd. So we've got our mixed culture saison front flips, and I'm tapping it as soon as we get done with this. The board will be up, but that's really complex and just super refreshing, and that beer showcases what yeast and bacteria and mixed culture fermentation can do. So me as a brewer, I nerd out on that kind of stuff. It's a little more esoteric, but if you're a beer nerd, try our mixed culture stuff when we have it. It takes a long time to make. We'll spend a year or more aging some of these mixed culture ones. So when they're on, come and try it.
There you go. You got one right there from one of the brewers here sitting with me, something that's going up right now, which means it's going to be here if you stop off at Horseleaf Hollow.
Front flips, if I didn't name it.
There you go. Okay. Right around, I want to say 104th and Western? Is that
104.26.
104.26 Western. Little Wing is one of your 4 canned beers that people can get right now. You look for that right there, and you grab it up if you want to get it off the shelves. But nothing tastes better than the stuff off the tap in the actual brewery. And if you're nearby, this is a place to go and visit. Maybe you bump into one of these guys, sweaty, after they've done a long day of brewing.
Yeah, we'd love to share a pint with any of you guys. So.
Share a pint with anybody.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to continue to share our pint. Thank you so much, and thank you, and congratulations.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's the All Things Evergreen Park It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.
I like that beer. It was a pretty good
I
beer.
love Little
Yeah,
Wing.
it was
It's my go-to.
it was a good beer. We had a good time. I hung around, had another one after
Yeah.
that. Yeah. What the heck?
And the boogie chillin'
When
that they
you're with
mentioned.
when I go to these breweries, I'm not, like, I always pull out my card. I always sit there and say, like, I'm never going to try to take something for free. The
But-
brewers are always so happy that you're there and you want to talk about their beer, though.
Yeah.
No, but they're always like, here, have a beer. Like, hey, you want another beer? And then they go back, they go back behind the bar because, like, they're the guy making it, or if you're talking to the owner, and they just basically just go right in between the bartender that's back there and just start filling things up.
Right.
You know? Like,
Yeah. Taste this.
I feel like I could walk back there with them and pour my own, and they'd be like, it's cool. It's Chris.
It's
Yeah,
Chris.
We just did
Chris.
the podcast with him. It's Chris. That's totally fine with us. If we do
Totally.
that. Yeah. Now, before I get into the whole thing with the Redeemer Carnival, first
Yeah.
off, what am I drinking here? Because you gave me this wine. I haven't tried it yet.
You're drinking a Behringer Brothers bourbon barrel aged red blend.
Did you bring this specifically because you know I'm like addicted to bourbon right now? And this is
Well,
like,
I bought it for Memorial Day because my buddy's house we were at, he's a bourbon fan or whiskey and bourbon fan, but we just ended up doing copious shots of Jack Daniels and we never made it to the wine.
oh.
So this is why I'm bringing it here.
Did you see this story about the artificial intelligence that the military was testing?
I did not.
Okay.
Like, I've heard it going around, but like I don't
This-
know the specifics of it.
This is crazy, okay? I read this story today. This is what happens. The military decides that they're going to test out AI when it comes to All right, I'm back.
Woo!
Hannah will be back in a second. That's the second time we've had this thing go out in 2 shows.
Yeah.
And it's really really weird, okay? But I mean, I don't get it, to be honest with you. I don't get why it's going out. I don't get why we can't make it through an hour. The internet never goes out in this
It's
house.
not sucking up that much bandwidth.
And the internet only goes out when we're doing the live show. It's the weirdest thing in the world, and it's something that we'll address and we'll get fixed. Okay,
We will get it fixed.
Let me get
We'll
AI
get it
thing.
fixed.
You know what I'm going to do?
Okay,
I'm going to
the AI.
I'm going to blame it on artificial intelligence. I was
Yes.
about to tell this story,
Blame it on the robots.
and I was turned off, and so maybe that's possible.
Maybe
that's what it-
so.
So they're doing this. They're doing this simulation. They're doing a drone strike simulation, and the AI doesn't know it. Okay, and the AI is given a rule that before it can fire, it has to confirm with a human operator that it's okay to fire. But the AI has also been given the task that it's supposed to take out these things. So at some point, the AI realizes that the human is getting in the way of its task. So in the simulation that the AI thinks is real, it turns around, goes to the location
Makes an executive decision.
where the human is, and it destroys the human base in the simulation. It thinks it's killed the U.S. military
Because the human is in the way of it
because
doing
the-
its mission.